At the moment it remains a policy proposal, but government has targeted the security sector for specific reasons.
Well, we have to understand that the South African policing function has basically been privatized by default. Our police service has become so incompetent and so inefficient that there are now more private police in South Africa than government police in the form of security guards and security companies, and the government is worried about having all this power, all these guns and all this control out of its hands. It of course is irrelevant, these are just business people. And it also is nervous about foreign investors controlling something as important as the security industry.
There is some concern in certain circles about government attempting to force this proposal through, steamrolling through in effect. And there are also implications about who's going to bear the cost of change of ownership.
It's not cast in stone and would have to be properly debated, and hopefully the government will accept that there should be some sort of regulatory impact assessment to actually look at why do they want it at all, what's called the mischief principle, what's the problem they want to solve, to what extent would this solve the problem, and what would the cost of solving the problem be, and who would pay that cost.
The transfer of ownership, while legally challenging in its own right, raises another concern. Which organisation or entity is actually going to determine who can bid for that ownership stake?
On a practical level, we're concerned about the ability of local ownership to participate in foreign multinationals operating in South Africa, even within the security industry. Many of those foreign companies operating in South Africa are of substantial scale. They're fairly expensive in terms of their ownership structure. So practically, we're concerned about how this relationship is going to be set.
Should the proposed legislation go through, there is a danger that the companies will have to offload those stakes at fire sale prices to become legally compliant. However, there is another issue.
We believe that this could change the direction of investment into South Africa. A foreign direct investment, which has been improving substantially in recent times, could then do an about turn and start to decline. No investor wants to come into a country and face the risk that he would have to surrender 51% of his ownership interest to a local person, particularly when that risk is accompanied by fears or concerns as to how he's going to be compensated.
And we shouldn't underestimate the impact that this proposed legislation is going to have on local investors.
Local investors will be sitting saying, do I really want to invest in my own country if this sort of thing is going to happen? And they will rather go and invest in the rest of Africa, which is becoming more open, more attractive and having high growth.
While it remains a policy proposal, there is a danger that government may steamroller through this policy because it's concerned about foreign ownership of the security sector. There are also broader investment issues for local and foreign investors. And then there's the danger that South Africa could develop its own indigenization policies. I'm Angelo Coppola for CCTV in Johannesburg.